So let me get to the point of what we're trying to do today. So the inspiration for today's class is actually this masterclass that I watched. So we're just going to take like 2 minutes to watch the masterclass and understand a little bit about this concept of how we select and how we are able to create good judgment. Okay, so let's go ahead and just watch this real quick and tell me what you understand.
Get together today and taste some wines. I think this is going to help all of us to be better tasters, to better appreciate wine, to discuss how they're made, what they taste like, and why. That's really important. What I tried to do today was to select wines that we can all find at home, and a wide range of wines. You have the Prosecco, which is much different than a top champagne, a Chardonnay from France, and a Pinot Grigio from Italy. Wonderful Bordeaux, young and old, the same Chateau, but then you have a rich and powerful California Cabernet. All sorts of really cool things today. I hope you all realize you can do this at home. Andrew, can you serve the wines now? Thanks. In general, I like serving sparkling wines before a dinner party or also a tasting because it's fresh, bubbly, and it's really the right thing to do. So, of course, you always look at the color first when you're tasting wine. And I always look like this, try to find some white space. You can use the paper, but luckily I have my tables in my office and they're white like this. I'll never do things like this. That shows you know nothing about wine. So just take a look. Now this is a nice Prosecco. The color is right. If it was a little bit darker yellow or had some orange to it, it would mean that probably it's not a great bottle. There could be some oxidation or it's old, because when a white wine ages, it gets darker in color. As far as swirling, it looks like you're all very competent swirlers. And it's not just for looks. I think it's really fun to do. But actually, it oxidizes the wines. So, okay, we looked at the color, we swirled it, smell, and then just take a sip. When you're tasting, look for the texture. A lot of people forget that. The bubbles, are they fine? These are very fine. You almost don't get any. It's more like just tasting a still wine. And then start thinking about things like acidity and the fruits. And the most important thing for all wines is the finish. This lasts pretty long. I'm getting lots of lemon and apricot, but more importantly, sliced pears. What are you getting, Vicky?
Definitely the pears. Very soft things, very light. I can taste a little bit of that sweetness, maybe that the fruit remembers.
Danny, what are you getting?
Getting some floral notes, white flower, and it's still opening up as well. It's very, very nice.
But we'll talk more, and I think we can sort of hone in on stuff, and it's going to be a lot.
Okay, all right. That's kind of like a little bit of an examination of how we're going to take this approach from wine tasting, and we can apply it to CV screening. I know it's probably a very different experience, but there were some good takeaways there. So I think the idea of expert judgment is actually pretty interesting. So he's able to like classify all the different parts of the wine, the texture of the wine, the acidity, the finish, and just being able to understand what it is that we're actually examining. So we're going to take that kind of inspiration here and we're going to apply it to CV screening and see where we go from there. So as part of the exercise, I asked Ara actually to get together some CVs for us, but I don't know if she's actually done this yet. She has a meeting today during the noontime, so she's unable to do it. But I'm going to ping her real quick, see if she has had the answer key ready so that we might be able to take a look at that. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what we've set up here, okay? So let me ping her real quick. Okay. We'll go away. Okay. Okay. All right, good. She got to 5. We'll take a look at these 5 later. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what we have. Okay, so once again, the objective here is actually very simple. Can we inspire delight through this innovation that can possibly transform our employees? Meaning, can we actually learn from this workshop to hire faster and deliver higher quality candidates to our chapter leads with alacrity? And then can we draw that analogy between wine sampling and CV screening? I think everybody who was on the Friday Scrum already saw this, so I'll just jump over this. Okay, so this is essentially what the experiment is. This is going to be a multi-stage experiment, and we're going to do the first stage today. So the first stage is where we're going to practice. We're going to practice taking a look at some CVs, and we're going to see how we're doing on those compared to each other, right? And just like wine tasting, we've broken down the components that we should be looking for and try to understand, okay, do you see these qualities? Do you see these textures? Do you see these flavors in the CV, okay? Each person will essentially put in what they think is there, and then we'll take a look at that and compare. Later on, we'll also take a look at some of Ara's work, because Ara was actually pretty good at this, and we'll see how she did her work. And I'll try to coordinate it so that you guys can also see some of the CVs that she graded. Okay, does anybody have any questions at this point? Let's go to Vina first. Any questions?
Actually, not a question, sir.
Mhm.
But in this aspect, if it's about wine, we forgot one aspect.
What do we?
If the wine is the longer the duration of the wine, it is getting better. It means we can. It means we also need to determine these people experience regarding of their previous background. Or well,
Okay.
if we refer it to wine law, yeah.
Okay, that's where the analogy stops, and then perhaps a new analogy comes up. So we're not necessarily comparing people to wine. We're more just uh, taking these ways that wine is evaluated and applying it to the way that we evaluate a CV. Mostly, we're trying to develop a system of how to determine how to judge things, right? So don't take the analogy too far, right? People are people, wine is wine. But this is just to give us like a little bit of inspiration to go there. Okay, let's go next to Arvi. Arvi, any questions on your side?
Are we only going to assess the CV or also the cover letter in the Trello?
Oh, very good point. Thank you, RV. Thank you, RV. What do you think, RV? Is there an opportunity to innovate here?
I actually think that the cover letter is very important also
Yes.
because sometimes we see something that is not in the CV
Okay.
or the cover letter doesn't really show, but
Yes.
the CV shows many things.
Perfect. RV, that's a great innovative idea. Here, RV, I'm going to ask you to help others first in this particular case. For the CVs that you've
Mhm.
selected, can you attach the corresponding cover letters while we do the first exercise, okay? And then afterwards, you'll be able to join us on the second exercise. So RV will go and attach cover letters to be corresponding to the CVs that we have. So you get to execute your idea. But then as we go on the first exercise, RV will not be joining us, so she'll be doing that, okay?
I already attached the Trello card though.
Oh,
Should I take a
okay.
picture?
All right. All right. Perfect. So we'll look at both. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Harvey. Even better. Okay. Already there.
Yeah, also thank you for Shelin helping me with some.
Okay. Perfect. Very good.
Okay, so it's enough.
Okay. Thank you, Harvey. Let's go next to Shaylin. Shaylin, any questions on your side, Shaylin, before we begin?
I think no in my part. I think it's pretty clear. Like we're going to see both the CVs and then the cover letters, right? So I think like from there it's actually the two of them is already like essential to see.
Okay.
One thing we can add as well is their LinkedIn profile as well if they actually have it.
Mm,
But yeah, it will be like one extra factor of consideration. So like I don't know if the time is still like enough if we actually add that one factor.
okay. Let's keep the time short. So each evaluation we're going to do, let's take no more than 3 minutes, okay, on the evaluation. So whatever you think you can get done in 3 minutes, then by all means do it. The wine in this particular case is not the CV then. The wine in this particular analogy is the Trello card, okay? So from the Trello card, you can open that up. You can take a look at the cover letter, the CV, the LinkedIn profile, whatever you detect on that entire, let's say, package, right, will be what you can sample. So don't restrict yourself to the CV. The entire package on the Trello card is available for everybody to make a particular judgment, okay? All right, great. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, any questions before we begin? Okay, all right. So
I'm good, sir. Yeah.
let's go ahead and take a look at our first selection. Okay, so we're going to open up Sarah. And what I want everyone to do is just to take 3 minutes and point. Oh, I forgot the criteria. Let me introduce the criteria. So the criteria, there's four sort of sections, right, for the criteria. And this will make it easy for, I think, people to understand your judgment. The first judgment is try to understand the preliminary conditions of the candidate. Are they a job candidate? Are they a career candidate? Or are they a calling candidate? Make a decision on where you see that particular person's phase in their motivation for applying. The second one is the primary selection method, is where we look at, do they have a growth mindset, bias to action, self-learner? Try to see if you can detect that on their CV and their motivation letter and their LinkedIn profile. The secondary set is the integrity, motivation, capacity, and understanding of the candidate. This might not be possible to figure out from a CV. So let's try to determine if it's even possible or not, right? But let's take a look at that and see if you can pick up any of that on this candidate. And then the last thing is try to understand if they have a vision fit, core value fit, or a leadership fit based on the CV. And the package, right, of the candidate. Okay, so we will each, I invite everybody to open up this paper. If you haven't opened this paper, then here's the link. I will share the link over here on the chat so that everybody gets access to the link. Okay, so take no more than 3 minutes to understand the candidate. And when you understand and you're ready to give a rating, then just go back to this part and select your rating. Okay. All right, everyone, we should be done at 2:17 for our first candidate. You may start now. And I'll just take a look at, and you can look at my screen if you want, but it's not necessary. So I'll take a look here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've done so far. So let's bring up the scorecard and see, what do we have? All right, so let's see if there's any things that we disagree with. Okay. I'm the only person that picked maybe a bit of a calling. Okay, everyone seems to have detected career in Sarah. Let's go to RV. RV, why do we not put down calling in Sarah's CV?
Okay, so I'm actually being careful because I already interviewed this person,
Mhm.
and I didn't really see calling at first,
Mhm.
but the interview session, yes, it was for calling.
Okay.
But before, I see it's still career because she has like a lot of things that she wants to learn, and yeah, never settle with one kind of um, like area.
Okay, got it. Let's go over to Shaylin. Shaylin, did you detect any maybe signs of calling, or how did you arrive at your decision?
Okay, so for me, I actually saw the cover letter, right? So on the part of why do you want to apply, so she's focusing more on like developing herself and like her career. So
Mm,
it's not because of the need the need of a job from her side, but it's more into like she want to develop her career.
right.
And for the curling side, I actually haven't like I don't actually notice anything in that part yet, especially in the cover letter and the CV so far.
Okay, interesting. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, what do you think?
I mostly agree with Sharon. Can you hear my voice?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. In terms that this candidate, I only detect as for the preliminary condition, only career, not calling because I think in my own understanding, like for calling, it is an individual that has like a strong connection with their role in a profession and their who they are as a person. And I don't think I can detect that so far from her motivation letter or CV. So yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, let's go to Vina. Vina, what do you think?
I do agree with uh, uh, all of the previous comment that she only interpret career's motivation since she only managed to work in the career that is same as her educational history.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's not a calling
Okay,
aspect.
I tend to agree with everybody, actually. I might have been short sighted. The trigger that thought maybe I thought about calling was this: I love process, any insight from data and numbers. I could hope more experience in business analytics, even making prediction. I try to add up all of her activities so far, right? Her licenses and certifications. And it's pretty consistent with that particular idea that she does really love data. She really enjoys the process of understanding insights. So this is a little bit longer than career, right? This is something that is, let's say, a fundamental core aspect of a person. So I thought maybe it's there, but I wasn't entirely sure either. And that's why I kind of clicked on both. It's somewhere between, that's how I usually express between, right? Somewhere between a career and a calling, not 100% all the way over. But okay, all right. So that's I think a maybe okay, all right, maybe an inconclusive place. I would say that I'm not entirely sure now. Right? It doesn't seem like calling is entirely there. Okay, thank you for that. Let's go to this. All right, let's go to Kevin. Kevin, you're the different one here. Tell me, Kevin, why is there no bias to action um, in her application?
Yeah, I think like of all the three categories for um, the primary one. I think by extraction of or proactive is the hardest to detect, like according from a CV,
Mm,
because yeah, as for the rest of the parts like growth mindset and self learner, I think it really shows on her CV because gradually she's trying to increase her competency in everything that is related to big data, right? From taking courses and such. And there's also a self learner behavior from her cover letter content. And yeah, I haven't like really seen very clear, I would say, indicator for bias action for this
okay,
candidate.
excellent. Let's go to Shaylin then. Shaylin, what did you see that persuaded you, that convinced you that this candidate had biased action?
Okay, so it's actually based on the certifications that she take.
Mhm.
Like she took a lot of certifications, so it's actually indicating self learner because like she did it on her own, right? And then it's actually based to action because she actually these three primary requirements is actually all there because the first thing is growth mindset. So she wants to like keep on upgrading herself with the skills, right? And then she actually took action to actually take those certifications. And yeah, that actually completes the third part, which is the self-learner part. So yeah, based on the certifications alone, she actually fulfills the three primary requirements.
Ah, very good. Okay, let's see. Let's keep on going here. Let's go to Vina. Vina, what do you see? Anything different or name it, Shaylin?
Yes, I do agree with Kak Shelin. Also, I want to emphasize the growth mindset one. He pursued educations in management, but then she managed to wanted to grow more and adjust with the what is the company needed as for today,
Yep.
so that she learns digital marketing and also it's indicate a strong growth mindset.
Interesting. Okay, very good. Let's take a look at this job here, Impact Bite. Let's try to understand, is this a paid job or is this an unpaid job? Make Impact is learn code in 8 weeks. Okay. Lucky works here. Okay, one of our alumni is here. Interesting. All right, all right. Let me go to Shaylin. Does this look like a paid job or is this an unpaid job?
Okay, I see. Impact, but I actually never heard of the organization or the company before.
Okay, let's see what they're about.
Education management. I think it might be paid. See,
Okay, looks like it's a paid job. Yeah, I agree. Okay, if it was an unpaid job, what would that indicate?
if it's unpaid, then it actually shows like she wants to like contribute herself like to this part, which actually shows the calling side.
Yes, that's what it tends to show. If it's an unpaid particular volunteer experience or if it's extracurricular or whatever, that indicates the person would want to do it even if they're not being paid to do it. That would indicate calling. But it's kind of consistent with her background in learning. This person seems to be really into learning, right? They learn a lot themselves and they like to teach people how to do the things that they've also learned to do. Okay, interesting, interesting. Let's keep on going. Okay, so Kevin, does that change your opinion, or do you want to still stick with that this person doesn't have a bias to action? Or it's
Yeah, I think no. Yeah, I would agree. Like after like hearing Kak Sharon's explanation for her point, where she's interested in like growing her competencies, and she actually took action by realizing it through um, several courses, different courses. Yeah, I do think it in a way it indicates bias to action behavior.
okay, all right, sounds good. Let's go to the next part. Now, as we go down the stack, it gets harder and harder, right, to be able to detect these. Let's see if we detected it. Okay, Shaylin detected capacity. RV detected integrity and motivation. Kevin detected capacity. Vina detected motivation. I couldn't detect these things at all. So let's take a look. Let's go to Kevin and Shaylin. Let's go to Kevin first. Kevin, how did you detect capacity to succeed in a role, let's say in
I
VCL or BI?
Okay, I think in my own understanding, like capacity in this case means that I took a look of her major right in college, and I think if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's actually a big sort of management, and then moving to her work experience, professional work experience, she actually pivoted to like data heavy related jobs. So I think in a way it indicates that the candidate is like have a quiet um, have some, I would say, like room for capacity, because how do I say those are two different things, right? Bachelor of management and then programming or data analysis. I think it indicates in a way like she has a quite good capacity in learning things, different things, I would say.
Okay, all right. Let's go to
That
some.
is
Let's go to RV. RV, you didn't put down anything for capacity, but you put down for integrity and motivation. What did you rely upon to make that particular understanding?
I haven't like moved to capacity and understanding yet. So I only
Oh,
check for the integrity and motivation. I
okay.
see that she finished her program in Impact Byte, and then I saw that Impact Byte is like a startup to make learning is available to everyone. So I think by giving back, by being the teacher there, I sense integrity, and it's not only for some time. It is actually more than 1 year. So I think, yeah, she do job with integrity, and also as for the motivation, um, I think it's like correlated with the fact that she checked all the primary categories.
Hmm.
It's her motivation to like learn more in Bukit Vista,
Okay. All right. Let's go
to
to
actually apply what she already learned.
understood. Okay. Cool. Thank you, RV. Let's go to Shaylin. Didn't see that. Shaylin, what do you think?
Okay, so for this one, I actually don't detect the integrity and motivation yet.
Mhm.
But for the capacity part, like it's actually amazing that she actually learned those like in those digital marketing stuffs as well as programming stuffs. Like even though her major is in management, right? So I think in terms of like capacity, in this case learning capacity, I think she has it. But in terms of understanding, we don't really know how much she understand right about these things because it's like normally certification is like you learn all the things and then do a test and then that's it, you get the certification, right? So because of that, I don't see I can't really see yet the understanding part, so I only take capacity in this part.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at Vina. Vina thinks this person has good understanding. Why, Vina?
Okay, actually, I understand it on the other way. Firstly, I don't detect integrity because on her work experience, she is already in full-time positions, but she only did it for 4 months,
Mhm.
and that does not indicate an integrity. And then, apa tadi aku? Wait, and for the motivations, of course, as how everyone said, and for the capacity and understanding, actually, the understanding is great because she managed to get all of the certificates which indicate understanding. But otherwise, as what Kashelin said before, capacity does not really clear here because again those certificates cannot represent her capacity in apa in doing her job here,
Mhm.
but only the basic understanding.
Okay. Got it. All right. Here's my analysis on this one, and it has whatever. There's particular things to this. I think about when I think about a person's capacity. I think about like, okay, um, what really indicates your capacity is what you've been doing, not just for a moment to get a certification, but what have you been doing for a very long time, right? And is that difficult or easy? This is a general prejudice. Not everybody may share this, and whatever it is. But I generally think that the more selective your university is, the more capacity you probably have. And the reason for that is because that's already a first capacity filter. Selective universities generally do not put in people who don't have high capacity, right? They generally want high accreditation rates. So they will pre select. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for, okay, what is the ranking of this person's university? And I found out that it's number 44 in Indonesia, and it's 1,337 and 3,930 worldwide. So that might not be a good sign, right? It's not I wouldn't call it a true negative, but it's definitely not a true positive, yeah, at the same point for essentially where they studied. You're right. I think Shaylin's right about certification. Certification, I think you can just go. You could Google the answers for the certification and just put in the answers for it, and you can pass the certification test. Right? It's not that hard. but I'm also looking at the certification. I'm looking at the timing of the certification, right? So it seems like this person has been unemployed for about 4 months, right? Because that was the break in their career. And they got most of these certifications during that time. One, two, three, four, four, five, 6, 7. So it seems like let's just kind of break it down for a moment, right? They have about 4 months so far. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got 8 certifications in 4 months. So they're doing about 2 certifications a month, which generally to me isn't like a huge amount of capacity. It's like if you have 2 weeks to get a certification, then okay, all right, that's fine. In any case, a bias to action, because this person certainly isn't sitting around doing nothing. But is that a huge amount of capacity? Maybe not, right? Or just maybe not enough information to tell actually at this point. So that's why I couldn't put it down. So I look at generally to understand capacity, I look at those two things. Where did this person go to school? Was their program challenging in the school? Not all programs are equally challenging in a school, but if they went to a very challenging program and they graduated, then in the case, okay, this person has the capacity to do complex, hard things, right? Which might be one way of detecting that. The last thing I look at for integrity is generally I look at recommendations, right? And I look at recommendations received. And I see, okay, who is writing recommendations of this, right? If it's a colleague, and if it's a colleague and they've written a recommendation back to the colleague, then that's a no flag on integrity, right? That's just like a favor for a favor. This is a little bit like Instagram followers, right? So the more followers you have and the fewer followers you go back, the more, whatever you have, right? So this person I thought was a pretty good example of integrity, Siki Chen. Siki Chen was blown away by his reviews, right? Now, these reviews are valuable because there are people who have worked with him, above him, and below him. So there are 360 reviews. They're from like basically all around. His reviews are pretty incredible. One, he has more reviews received than given, so that's a good sign. He has 27 reviews. And if you start reading these reviews, you start getting a very clear idea of who this person is, right? And you start looking at like the people that are writing the reviews. They are also people of what I would imagine to be good integrity as well, right? So if you have integrity, the people around you who write reviews for you should look like people of good integrity, good capability, high positions, let's say, growth mindset, the whole thing, right? And they would be giving you reviews that similarly express that particular satisfaction and consistency and reliability in your character, in your work. So when I read this, I see that, okay, Siki's getting reviews from, let's say, chief financial officers, from people who are founding companies, from really interesting people that let's say have had pretty successful careers themselves, and they are writing things that indicate a very foundational impact that this person has made. Okay, those are my criteria for how I usually detect integrity. Let's go around and see if these criteria are any good. Let's go to Arvi. Arvi, what do you think?
Well, yes, I will say the same if there is some like recommendation in LinkedIn. But that's the thing in Indonesia, we don't really have that kind of culture to give recommendation in LinkedIn yet. So it might be hard to get it as one of the thing in Indonesia.
I agree. So what it means is we don't necessarily have
Yeah,
positive
that's it.
information, right? Because the true positive information is maybe not there. Hey, Shaylin, that kind of maybe could be an employee advocacy idea, to improve the advocacy and change that culture in Indonesia as well. Okay, let's go to Vina. Vina, can the university and the recommendations received be a good way to understand capacity and also the integrity of a potential candidate?
For the university, I do agree it can detect the capacity. But for the recommendations, I'm not really agree that it can detect the integrity, since it is just like a letter of recommendations. Again, in Indonesian culture, we can just simply ask it even to our uh, higher positions. Yeah. So I don't think it's really detect integrity. But for the university, yes, I agree to detect obscenity.
Okay. Can let's say I hear what Vina is saying, right? Just a letter alone. Just say let's say looking at a letter alone, it's hard to detect integrity. But if you read the letter, Vina, could you detect integrity?
Actually, not read the letter, but uh, look for who is writing that,
Okay.
because
Very
all
good.
of my friends give the same feedback to each others and give a very good feedback about them, which is a total lie. So like even the lecturers give when the students ask for the lecturers, sir, can you please give me recommendations? Yes, I will, but it is totally lie. It's not in line with the real activities, the real
Okay.
life of these people.
Interesting. Then what do we need to do in order to detect authenticity in recommendation letters? Then let's go to Shaylin. Should we? Okay. All right. Funny. All right. Let's go. Let's go to Shaylin. What do we need to do to detect authenticity in recommendation letters?
Oh, no. Okay, this is kind of hard. Like normally we ask for recommendation letters to our own superior, right? So it might be like fabricated. It might be biased as well.
Mhm.
Uh, okay. Perhaps I think the person we can rely on is actually like not the direct supervisor, but like the head of the company itself. I think he will have like a more objective approach, especially like when giving out recommendation letters, because like he actually represent like the company, right? So like whether he or she like giving out recommendation letters, it should be like authentic in that sense.
Okay. All right. That's one way to do it. Here, let me kind of propose another way. So you're correct. Everyone is correct here. There is a lot of opportunities to create misinformation or disinformation in a LinkedIn profile or in a CV or wherever, right? So as screeners, you should always kind of, I think Shaylin used a pinch of salt, right? You should always read everything like as if there could be well, most likely people are going to say nice things about themselves, right? This is, after all, produced by the person themselves. So the thing you kind of have to like look at is, all right, let's take a look at a few factors in these recommendations. How many people are writing recommendations? That's one, right? If it's one or two, perhaps less authentic, right? If it's many, probably more authentic. Balance between the received and the given. If this person is writing recommendations only to receive recommendations, then that is probably not a true recommendation. That is, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. So look at, let's say, if there is a balance. If you get receive more and you give less, that's a good balance. If you're the opposite, then maybe that's not such a good balance, right? Third thing is what Vina said, the quality of the person who's writing this recommendation. Does this person supposedly have integrity? And can that be understood through the understanding of their CV and their profile and their extracurricular activities, the things that they do? Fourth thing is this. Is there any overlapping context that you find across all the recommendations? So let's say if we look at Siki. Siki keeps on getting mentioned for leadership values, leadership values, leadership values, right? So then let's say a person is going to try to fake this, right? It would be a very, very challenging fake. You'd have to get more people to actually write you recommendations, all consistent on the very same thing, all agreeing that you have these values, right? And each having a different story to tell. Now you could fabricate it, right? You could think about, okay, how do I get this? But it's unlikely that all of these could also be coordinated at the same time. So then you're probably left with the end conclusion, this probably is real, right? If I gotten this many people, all with similar integrity, to write recommendations that all emphasize the same point, then it's probably there. Now, as Ari said, this might not happen a lot in Indonesia, right? So LinkedIn and looking at this might not be the best way of understanding integrity. And maybe this screening process cannot screen for integrity, right, at the very beginning. So then we need to try to either say, okay, if it doesn't happen very often, then that's why we need another stage, RV. That's why we have an interview. That's why we have on-site trials to test for that. We don't have these things just to make things complicated, right? We don't have on-site trials and user interviews. We want to just have this as few times as possible to just figure out what is it that we don't understand yet, and so that we can take a closer look at this person. Okay. All right. Great. So this is the exercise I want everybody to then go through, right? I've shown everyone how to do this once. Now go back on your own time and let's get together on next Friday, right? With the rest of the ones that RV has put together. Go ahead and grade each CV based on what you believe is your opinion, right? Try not to rely on anybody else's opinion right now, right? So if Shailene gives something, or RV gives something, or Vina gives something, try to do your own work and understand through your own way how this is seen, because we want to also understand how you see things and what do you see as a green light, as a red light. Okay. All right. Can everyone do that? Well, let me go to Shailene and ask. Shailene, do you think Friday is enough time for everyone to go through and evaluate these CVs, or do we need more time to do this?
Like for the total from RV side and Ara side, is it?
Oh, right. Good question. Which one should they evaluate, RV side or Ara side? Let's go with Ara side, yeah, because then Ara can come back and coach us on what she sees. Do you think Ara only has, I think, 10 right now, right? And then we'll go back to RVs again and get Ara back to do it. So we'll do this over, I think, 3 or 4 sessions to improve the overall evaluation methods. But do you think that's enough time at the moment then? Ara did do this. Okay, congratulations. Okay, all right, we can see what Ara wrote on this one. Shailene, do you think Friday is enough time for everybody to get through, let's say, Ara stack?
If it's 10 CVs, then I think it should be possible.
Okay, all right. RV, do you think that's possible? 10 CVs to be reviewed by next Friday?
Yes, of course.
Okay, all right. Kevin, what do you think?
If 10 series till next Friday, I think it's doable. I think.
Okay. We're investing a little bit of time to get us better in evaluation so that we can fix the middle part of the funnel. Let's go over to Vina. Vina, what do you think? Doable?
About the duration of writing this,
Yeah.
actually, back to you again, sir. Do you want to train our speediness in terms of CV screening? If you want, then
Okay, all right.
if you want, then let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I do. I want to improve the quality, the accuracy, and the speed. But I know it's going to take some time too as well. So I don't want to push you guys to. I mean, ideally, if you guys can get this done on Monday, then do so, and then we'll start the lessons, because then we are using a sharper saw, so to speak, to go through our work, right? Because right now, what I think is happening is everybody's saw is different levels of sharpness, right? Some people have sharper saws, some people have less sharp saws. So if we can sharpen everyone's saw, then we can add more people to screen and to interview, which is the next segment, but also to be able to do it effectively and efficiently. Yeah. So yes, let's aim for Friday then to get this done. But also, if you can get it done faster, then get it done faster, and we can accelerate your competency on CV screening. Let's take a look at what Ara saw. Ara's fairly good at this. She has the magic talent. So let's see what she was able to detect. She was okay. All right. She was able to detect job, self-learner capacity, core value fit. Interesting. Okay. She detected that the candidate is still figuring herself out. Should not be in a leading position on the early days. Very interesting. Sarah seems eager to learn new things. She learned various skill sets in multiple areas. Okay, the skills she learned, not mastered, because there's no evidence yet of mastery. Certification is a statement this person just finished a course and is biased between PD, DM, and BI. Okay. Verdict: I would not pass this candidate for the VCL position. Interesting. We forgot to actually include verdicts on our particular thing. Okay, so I showed the answer before we actually had a DN, ask her to be a DM intern. Okay, interesting. All right. I know we've seen the answer already, so that kind of contaminates the your answer. But let's go to Shailene. Shailene, let's pretend you didn't see this, right? We didn't know what Ara's response would be. What would you have said about Sarah? Would you have passed her, or would you not have passed her?
Okay. Perhaps I'll actually pass for the first interview.
Pass her first interview.
To detect more on motivation and integrity.
Okay, let's go to RV. What would you do?
I think yes, as she has the experience of teaching. I think she also is good, might be good at actually analyzing and giving scores. So yes, for the
Okay.
first interview, yes.
Okay. Very good. And Vina, what would you think?
I think not first interview, but clarifying in some phone screening to
Oh,
please give me your evidence on all of the certificates that you have.
okay. All right. Evidence of certificates or evidence of something else?
Evidence of the certificates, I believe, and also the integrity.
Okay.
And
She has her certificates. Those are legit, right? Those are wait, actually I don't know. On LinkedIn, do you have to actually do it to get it? Is it LinkedIn does the test or can anybody just put a button there and say I did it? I don't know actually. Yeah, okay. All right. So all right. Since we both don't know apparently, so I guess that might be a good step, right? So ask for the data, ask for the evidence. Okay, good. But what else besides evidence?
the capacity or the integrity, I would say.
Yeah, what evidence of
And
integrity? So we need to understand what that could look like too. What's an evidence of integrity? What would be like a way that you would imagine? Okay, I'm going to test this person for integrity. How would that test look like? What would that look?
oh, I said before that the integrity refers to the short period of duration in his full-time works, right? So I would like to ask why you drop out from this company.
I didn't see that, by the way. When you were mentioning that, I didn't know what you were talking about in that particular case. What job did they do only for 4 months?
It's in her CV.
Oh, let's see. Okay, what is the? Oh, the current company, Rev. Oh, yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, good catch. Yes. Okay, so Vina did see something there. That is
Is
interesting.
it?
Yep. Yes, Vina
The
did.
year is different.
Here, I'll show what Vina I think has caught. Vina, you mean Rev O, right? Revo U?
Isn't that like a course or something?
Oh, it could be a course.
Yes, that's a course.
Oh my God! What? She has no work experience then. Impact Byte, she's a student, not a.
No, the top one is the work experience, but the revo one is like a course, I think.
Oh, right. Okay, Vina. Okay, maybe we've misinterpreted some of the data, right? So this is more of not work experience, but this is license or certification. Now, do you change your mind?
Still through phone screening and
Okay. Okay.
making sure that the certification is real.
Okay, that's a
Legit.
good practice though. I like what Vina said because if we can use a phone screen to clear somebody, then that saves some time, right? And that reduces the amount of time and improves the speed of a candidate's process. Okay, let's go to Kevin. Kevin, what would you give Sarah in this particular case?
Based on the things that I have checked right on the list, I think I would probably ask for the first interview, like to see to maybe like gain a clearer feel for her motivation. I mean, I think based on her experiences, like one time at college, she focused on management and then pivoted to web development mentor. I mean, things related to programming and such. And then she jumped back again to like BICCR with things that are related to like business and revenue. I don't know, like in terms of like her career path, I would say like at the moment she is kind of like I don't know, like it seems like she's taking all the chances that she has. So yeah, I think it needs more like more clarity on that. I would like to like ask her on that part for
Okay.
the motivation and such.
Okay, so you would ask for more information from the candidate. Okay, yes, let's go to Arvi. Arvi.
I would like to disagree for the phone screening. I think we cannot like phone directly. We have to still ask for her time and such. So I think the best way is actually to invite her to interview and see from the first minutes of interview if it shows that the candidate will be good, then we can give more like follow-up questions. But if we think that the candidate is not good, then we can just make the interview simple, like 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I mean, after the screening, if the candidates like, okay, she's good, okay, let's go to interview, and it takes longer time, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, thank you for stepping on toes, RV. This is a good debate. Hey, RV, I want you to have this debate with Vina and come back to me with the result. Yeah, what are we going to do as far as the Vina?
We lost you. I cannot
You
hear you.
seem muted. We cannot hear you, sir. Well, we cannot hear you. Like you're not muted, but we cannot hear you. Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
Still cannot hear it.
Yeah. I think
can you hear me now?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we can.
yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I played around with the AirPods and they okay do this really stupid thing. Okay, let's see if what we want to do next. So I've sort of showed everybody what the process is, right? Now go and practice this and learn essentially what these skill sets are. Thankfully, I think Ara actually created. Ara was lazy. I think she just copied your stuff, RV. So she just it's pretty much the same as what RV's put up. So go ahead and do 10 of these CV screenings based on your opinions, and let's be ready to meet our. We might be able to meet our midweek. All right, maybe on Wednesday to have a midweek check. So we'll see your progress, and she'll coach everybody on what they're doing right, what you might need to look at better, and then we'll have another on Friday. So Ara gets to. Ara seems to really want to be involved. I don't know. She's like more exciting at Bukit Vista. So yeah, I'm trying to think of ways to pass on her wisdom also to our great team here too as well. So okay, that part is done. Does anybody want to do another one just for fun and see? Or I know we only have 5 minutes, but okay, fine. I'm just going to make it happen. All right, let's do another one. Let's do another one on a candidate that we recently saw, Adist. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about this candidate, try to imagine what you would see actually at the beginning now, all right? And try to see if you refine your capabilities. So let's take 3 minutes, review Adist, and let's see what the results are. And we'll save the analysis for a different session, okay? But let's just see what we get. Okay, we'll start now, and we will finish at 3 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's see. I think RV just needs to put in your values. I realize this. Oh, let's see if anyone else has detected that. Shaylin, is this grading scale perfect, or is there a way that we can apply never settle and make this grading scale even better?
I think there's always like room for improvement as well, like for this part.
Okay.
So
What do you find is the problem with the way that we've created the grading scale at the moment?
mm, I don't know. I think for this part, I think like it's good that like we separate it to like the preliminary and then primary, secondary, and such, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, we actually like as apa as the role gets more serious, like more senior, like we need to like apply more of the bottom qualifications part, right?
Hmm.
So I think in this part, for now I think it's kind of sufficient for now. I so far I can't really think of adding things, but like if you guys have any idea, then it can also be like improved as well. So.
Okay, let's ask the question over to RV. RV, does an unfilled box mean that the person doesn't have the quality, or does an unfilled box mean that it is an unfilled box?
It is an unfilled box. For some boxes, for my ini kan assessment. For some box, yeah. Because I think it's not just sufficient enough.
Hmm.
The data that I see,
Hmm.
because yes, she is like role fit, I believe,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I cannot see the progression that much
Okay.
because she's already like having the like managerial level,
Hmm.
and I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Um, okay. Let's go to Vina. Vina, let's talk about the system first, right? Vina, when you have an unchecked box, does that mean that that has just not been checked, or does it mean that that person is lacking in a particular quality?
Oh, I checked the box because I think she represent that any criterias.
Okay. And if you don't check a box, it just means that they do not have that criteria, right?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Kevin, is that the way you understand it? So a checkbox means that.
Um, I think for me it's a little bit of both. So yeah, some of the boxes that I left leave unchecked, I might like when I pass the person to the next interview, I might like I will have to detect to gain more clarity on that whether they
Mhm.
actually have or don't have. But
All right.
yeah, I think at the moment like only based on the CV for the boxes that I leave unchecked, yeah, they either they don't have the criteria or I don't see them at the moment. Yeah, having the
Okay.
exhibit criteria.
I have an innovation. Here's my innovation, everyone. I just thought of it. Check this out. What if we did this? Detected, not detected, not sure. Okay, that will come out in a second. Yeah. And then this doesn't become. Oh wow, that's going to make the survey much longer. But let's say this, right? Because now if we have, let's say that, that's a lot more clear than an empty box, right? And you could say, I'm not sure either, right? Like, I don't know if this person has a vision fit or not. Does that improve the quality of our survey? Let's go over to Vina. Vina, what do you think?
Just add the singkatan, sir. How do I say singkatan?
I don't know. That's
Um,
a good question. That's a good one.
abbreviations.
Yeah, just the
Oh, C
abbreviation,
N
like
D and NS, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, not below the surface, but beside the criteria. So just
Ah,
Oh, go ahead and make your adjustment. Let's
Oh, okay.
here. Yeah.
Maybe vision fit, and then like you put the dash, and then you put like D detected, ND not detected, NS not sure, things like that. Is it?
Ah, okay, okay. Let's see Vina's vision here. All right. Okay. Hi, babe. How you doing?
You use paper to checklist?
Yeah, we're doing a wine tasting, but for CVs. So she's like, "What? How do you drink a CV?" We apply our.
I got it.
Okay, yeah, you get it. Okay, all right, great. Okay, let's see. Oh, I see, I see. There you go, there you go. Okay, okay, all right. Interesting. Okay. Oh, then we don't need a checkbox at all then, right? We just put NDD or you know, not sure.
It should be in each cello itu.
Okay, all right. Let's save that for another iteration, right? But this is the feeling of innovation. This is the feeling of like, oh, hey, we can do this better. Let's use the current system. The current system isn't perfect, but training everybody and get everyone to the new system is a little bit too much effort for just the workshop today. But know that it's possible. We'll take another look at this. This is a system that needs to be perfected. But okay, that's pretty much it. I wanted to just give everyone some practice with this. We can connect Ara as an expert wine taster, expert CV screener later, so that she can give you some tips and feedbacks to get better at that. And yes, try to get all your CV screen practices done by Friday. If you want to get Ara to help you more, please get them done, or a portion of them done by Wednesday, and then she can give you coaching on Wednesday. I'll ask her to come in and tell everybody, you know, what they could do better or why she thinks a certain way. Okay, we got a little bit over time, but I think it's okay. It's only 5 minutes. So hopefully this was educational and helpful, and we can use this as a way to improve our CV screening method. Has anybody worked in HAR yet, in hospitality or support reservations? No. Oh my God, this is the first time. First time. Wow. Okay. Pure HR chapter. Before, people who came to HR came from other parts of the company, right? But because we do this actually in inquiry reservations, our inquiry management. So we look at inquiries and we decide, okay, what kind of inquiry is this? What is the person asking for? How should we respond, right? So it's a very similar exercise, but I guess this is kind of new for everyone here. We'll play it. All right, thank you everyone for coming in. I'll upload this video. You can watch it later if you're like, what the hell was Jing talking about? I don't get it. And I'll see everybody on Monday. All right, have a good weekend. See you then. Happy New Year.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.